I welcome you all for the class Indian Polity. We will continue. In the last class, we have seen Article 31A, under which the state is empowered to make law on 5 categories of the subjects, and such laws would enjoy the judicial immunity with regard to Article 14, 19, and 31. The 5 categories I told you, normally land reforms, acquisition of estates, amalgamation of corporations, or nationalization of certain industries, taking over certain industries. These 5 categories I have mentioned under Article 31A. This also empowers the state legislatures. They can also make law on such subjects which are falling under the state subject or concurrent subject, normally land reforms or abolition of zamindari system. But such laws will not enjoy judicial immunity unless those laws are reserved for consideration by President and President gives his assent to those laws. Then only they will be included, they will be enjoying the judicial immunity. Otherwise, the judicial immunity will not be there. They are subjected to judicial review. What is the rationale behind President approving and then they get the judicial immunity? That means President is part of Parliament. Remember, Union legislature consists of President, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So once the President gives his assent, that means the Parliament has given the approval. So it enjoys the judicial immunity as a law passed by the Parliament. This is the rationale behind that. Today we are taking up Article 31B along with the Schedule 9, which was added through first Constitutional Amendment Act 1951. Remember, the first Article 31A was also added through first Constitutional Amendment Act 1951. Similarly, 31B was also added along with Schedule 9 were added through first Constitutional Amendment Act 1951. This article says those acts which are included in the 9th schedule from being challenged or invalidated on the ground of inconsistency with any of the fundamental rights. Remember, with any of the fundamental rights. So, what Article 31B says? Any act which has been included in the 9th schedule cannot be challenged on the ground of its inconsistency with Article 14 and 15, 16, 19, etc. Any fundamental rights, remember, not only the fundamental, only limited, any fundamental right, it cannot be challenged. So, what is the difference between 31A and 31B? Remember, under 31A, only 5 industries, 5 categories, and only the saving is, the protection is given to a law which intended to protect the 5 categories. Other laws, they do not get the protection. Whereas Article 31B, once you include any law in the 9th schedule, all those laws get the protection. That is the difference, remember. And not only that, under Article 31B, if a law is included in the 9th schedule, they cannot be challenged if they are inconsistent with any of the fundamental rights. Whereas on the other hand, 31A protects you only from being challenged under Article 14, 19 and 21. 31. So this in fact 31B is wider in purview. 31A is not so wider, it is narrow. That is the difference between the 31A and 31B. Now, another thing you have to remember, originally the intention of 9th schedule was to protect the land reforms. And to protect the laws relating to abolition of zamindari system. However, the 9th schedule has been largely used by successive governments not only to protect the land reforms and other related, agrarian related laws, they have included even election laws. They have included even, mining rights. Everything has been included under the 9th schedule only to escape from the judicial scrutiny. So once you include in the 9th schedule, that will not be questioned on the ground of its inconsistency with any of the fundamental rights. So they have included indiscreetly, they have included many of the rights in the many of the acts and regulations in the 9th schedule. See, remember, the schedule originally had only 13 laws, 13 acts and regulations in 1951. But it has grown up to 282 in 2016. I told you earlier, I remember to told you, 76th Constitutional Amendment Act 1994 placed Tamil Nadu Reservation Act of 1994, which provides 69% of the reservation for scheduled caste, scheduled tribe and OBC in the 9th schedule, thereby extending judicial immunity for the act. That was the intention. And now come the turning point. After this comes the turning point. I told you there are many cases with regard to the judicial review. In Shankari Prasad case of 1951, Shankari Prasad case of 1951 and Sajan Singh case of 1965. Shankari Prasad 1951, Sajan Singh 1965. In both the cases, which were the earliest cases, Supreme Court held that the Parliament has absolute powers to amend any part of the Constitution, including fundamental rights. This I remember to told you very detailed explanation was given in the earlier classes. So what were the two important cases? Shankari Prasad versus Union of India of 1951 and Sajan Singh versus State of Punjab of 1965. The Rajasthan also. There are two cases in Sajan Singh. And in these two cases, Supreme Court held that the Parliament has got absolute powers to amend any part of the Constitution, including fundamental right. However, remember, in Golaknath versus State of Punjab of 1967, Supreme Court declared through its far-reaching decision that Parliament has no powers to amend Constitution at all. Even fundamentally, there is no question at all, because Parliament has no powers to amend any part of the Constitution, let alone fundamental rights. And fundamental rights having been kept at the transcendental position, you cannot touch the fundamental rights. However, Supreme Court insulated the earlier amendments. Because by that time about 12 amendments are already gone in 1967. When Golaknath case decision came, many amendments have already been passed by the Parliament. Now you say that Parliament has no power to amend the Constitution means, how can you, what happened to the earlier amendments? So, Supreme Court insulated the amendments by propounding what is popularly known as doctrine of prospective overruling. What is that? Doctrine of prospective overruling. To overcome the Golaknath decision, Mrs. Indira Gandhi government brought out 24th Constitutional Amendment Act 1971. This also I explained, by caption changed and a provision added in Article 13, another provision added in Article 368, etc. 24th Constitutional Amendment Act 1971 and other Constitutional Amendment Acts were challenged in the most famous case of Kesavananda Bharati versus State of Kerala in 1973. This case is also called Fundamental Rights case. The 13 judges bench of Supreme Court, the largest bench so far, which one? Kesavananda Bharati versus State of Kerala, also called Fundamental Rights case. 7:6 majority, remember, 7:6 majority upheld 24th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1971 and also said that the powers of the Parliament to amend any part of the Constitution, including fundamental rights, is valid. So, Mrs. Indira Gandhi, what she fought for have been fructified. It has been successful to a limited extent. Parliament, not about the judiciary in the Kesavananda Bharati case, said Parliament has powers to amend any part of the Constitution, including fundamental rights. However, Supreme Court added one very important proviso saying the Parliament has no powers to amend the basic structure. What is that? They propounded again a new theory of basic structure, doctrine of basic structure, and said Parliament has no powers to amend the Constitution in such a way as to damage the basic structure. Then what is the basic structure? They broadly indicated whatever has been told in preamble is the basic structure. And in successive decisions of Supreme Court, many cases, various features have been added to the theory of basic structure. For instance, first important thing is Rajanarayanan versus Mrs. Indira Gandhi. Rajanarayanan versus Mrs. Indira Gandhi, case of 1975. The Supreme Court said that is also called the election case. Rajanarayanan versus Mrs. Indira Gandhi, case of 1975, which is also called election case. Supreme Court said the judicial review of executive and legislative action is a basic structure. So this decision, Kesavananda Bharati decision, was delivered on 24th April 1973. Very important. 24th April 1973. What is the decision? Kesavananda Bharati versus State of Kerala. What is the judge? Constitutional bench consisted of 13 judges, the largest bench so far. And what is the majority? 7:6. And in this particular case, they said for the first time they invented the theory of basic structure. Why the reason? What is the reason? Reason is very simple. Article 368 talks about only amend. You cannot overhaul. Amend means what is the meaning? Change. You can change it in such a way that the total dimension remains the same. You cannot change the dimension of the Constitution. That is their argument. Very rightly, of course. Very rightly, they said you cannot change the dimension. Total framework of the Constitution you cannot change. So, they said 24th April 1973 was the decision day. Then came what is known as Kolho case. Kolho versus I.R. Kolho versus State of Tamil Nadu, 2007. Supreme Court said there cannot be a blanket immunity from judicial review of the acts which have been included in the 9th schedule. What is this? This is a plaything. You include any law in the 9th schedule and you say judiciary has no powers. This is absurd. Then what for we are sitting here? And Rajanarayanan case, already Supreme Court has said that basic judicial review is a basic structure. How can you take away the basic structure, the judicial review, which is part of basic structure, by simply including this in the 9th schedule? So, in the Kolho case, in the Kolho versus State of Tamil Nadu in 2007 case, Supreme Court said all the laws which have been included in the 9th schedule are subject to judicial review, and if it is challenged, it will be examined on the touchstone of judicial review. So, you cannot just take away the power by just placing it in the 9th schedule. So, it ordered that all laws included in the 9th schedule after 24th April 1973, that is the day of judgment of Kesavananda Bharati case, are open to challenge in the court. If any of these laws violated Article 14, 15, 19 and 21 or any of the basic structures of the Constitution. Remember, Tamil Nadu Reservation Act, which provided 69% reservation, is included in the 9th schedule. If anybody challenges this, it will also be subjected to judicial review. This is the position with regard to Article 31B. Thank you.